Well, welcome to Fast Cars, Fast Girls. We are your IndyCar experience, and today we are your Doug Boles experience.
It's the month of May and February. We're just excited.
It is. We are.
104 days from the 104th running we're taping this.
Oh,
Which is kind of cool, right?
Wow.
That makes my OCD heart happy.
Yeah.
He just, like, no prompting.
It's pretty,
Wow.
pretty cool stuff.
Is
It's
there
hard
a
to believe
countdown?
that how fast it's going, and it's like May around here already with Roger being around, and as much time as he's spending here and all the things that we've got going. It's I'm ready for May.
I feel like that's one of the things people want to know. Like, how is it different now that, like, man, Roger's here? Like,
it's different because Roger's here. I mean, you've got. I mean, people know this. He's so passionate about this place and so passionate about the Indianapolis 500 and about the 400. I mean, he just loves the racing. And how many times have you heard him say the first time he's here was in 1951 as a 14-year-old? And it's pretty crazy to have the days. I mean, he comes in every week. He's here for a day or two or three a week, just really trying to understand the whole facility. And his mantra all along has been, look, I'm not coming here to change things. I love this place and history and tradition. What I'm coming here is to help make it better. So how can I get involved and make it better? And the thing that's interesting is beginning to learn to see things through the Roger Penske lens and just the things that he wants fixed and changed as it relates to the customer experience. And it's really been a fun ride to see the things that he says, why are we doing things this way? Maybe we do it like this. And you're like, you know what? That's a great idea. And we should do it like this. And that's, so not only are we getting ready for the 104th running in 104 days, we're also getting ready for the 104th running in 104 days with some Roger Penske changes that we'll make leading into that. And then I think this is just the beginning of what you'll see is a real commitment he has to the fan experience.
I love that. And I love the last press conference I came to here talking about the Xfinity race being on the road course. You know, that he said that you guys are doing things to improve the fan experience that in no way will increase revenue for the track or for the series. But it's important to him because it's important to improve the fan experience. And that, to me, especially at this track that has a pretty fantastic fan experience already, like, you know, for him to come in and I always say, I'm like, he has more money than God, just about, you know, but like to put the focus on that, knowing, okay, we might not get a great ROI on this right now, but the experience that it's going to improve and how it's going to draw other people in, I love that he's got that mindset and just that openness, especially considering, you know, that he's an octogenarian, you know, like the fact that he is still so connected with these younger fans and what they want to do and see while they're here is just awesome.
It's funny you talk about him being an octogenarian.
Because he's got the energy of like a 20-year-old.
Amazing. Well, he does have the energy of a 20-year-old, but it's amazing to see how connected he is. How adept he is at texting on a phone, how quick he is to pull out his iPad to show you different things on the iPad, just the technology that he's embraced technology and uses technology like an 18-year-old, which is pretty cool to see with respect to that. But, you know, having him here and listening to him say it really isn't about ROI right now. It is totally about what can we do to make sure that the 300,000 plus people that show up here on Indy 500 race day want to come back. And they want to come back because we've made the experience so good. Really, really early on, within a week of the announcement that he was going to purchase the Speedway, he asked for all of the information we could give him related to what a customer thought and some of the concerns a customer had. So we've done these post-event surveys for as far back as I can remember, predates me being here in 2010. And you can compare year over year over, you know, a whole bunch of different experiences the fans have gone through. And then there's a whole area for them to give free responses. So we gave Roger the last 3 or 4 years of the data, and within a week, to have him come in and go, okay, I've read through all these, and here I've bucketed for you what I think are the areas where people are most concerned. Wow. And he was right on the buckets. I mean, he was able to pick out the things, especially in those free responses, that people said could make the experience better for us. And a lot of the stuff that we will address between now and May are things that Roger picked up on that our customers cared about. And he's absolutely right. Investing in them, you can't measure an ROI, but what you can measure is a customer satisfaction number, and that's really what he's focused on. I want to make sure that our customers love the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and think of it as Augusta. You think of that you pick it's the Super Bowl, it's the World Series, it is the best in our sport, but also the best of sport, and it's been really neat to see somebody that's 100% focused on, I want this experience to be good.
Yeah. Well, and that's such a great attitude to come into it with, because it's already the biggest single day sporting event in the world. So we have all these world records at this track in general, and to just try and take that and make it even better, because this is an event that somebody has even a halfway good experience, they're coming back next year. And so when you create a great experience, they're not just coming back, they're coming back with 5 friends.
Right.
So, yeah.
And that's he really believes that. He knows what the experience is about. One of my favorite moments with him since he's been here is we were out looking at grandstands and restrooms, and I was thinking it would be fun at some point in time before May. I will post how many flights of stairs I've walked with Roger Penske at the Speedway. It's one day I got home and I walked like 76 flights of stairs, up and down grandstands and just places as you're looking through things. And we were at one point walking, and we were in the penthouses, and Roger said, I have seats up here somewhere. So I called Linda Price, who's an amazing ticketing gal who's been with us forever and ever and ever, and said, hey, where are Roger's seats? And so she sent me this list. He's got seats all over the place. But his seats in the paddock penthouse. So we went to see them, and when we got there, Roger said, oh my gosh, these seats are unbelievable. He said, these are better than a suite. I'm gonna have to really think about who gets to use these seats, because the experience is so amazing.
And you were like, no kidding, they're on the outside.
But and for him to see that, and he's walking through seats and sections and really trying to understand what the customer experience is from those places. But it was kind of neat to see him all of a sudden hit him and say, wow, this is an amazing view from these seats.
That's very cool. I don't know that there's a lot or any other owner of, a sports series, venue, etc., that actually goes around and looks at different individual seats at their venue. I couldn't
tell you didn't have it at Lucas Oil.
Right? I'm like, is Ursay sitting in different sections at Lucas Oil? Like, no, he's in a suite. He doesn't know what the seats are anywhere else. And so that's...
He's been in seats and stairways, cool. And the one thing you learn really early on, he won't walk by a door without asking you to open it to see what's in it. You can't just say, oh, that's a mechanical room. He wants to go in and see what's in that room and say, hey, you know what? We can make this better. Yeah, we can make the lighting's not good in here, or why do we have that old conduit we don't need anymore? Get that conduit down. That storage cabinet on the back, what if we did it as a half size and raised it? It's always thinking about how to make the experience better, not necessarily just for the customer, but in that situation, for the guys that are needing the mechanical room. So it didn't take but 2 or 3 doors to realize don't ask him, just open it up if he's never been in there. And if he hasn't been in every single one of the restrooms here, he's been in pretty darn close to every single one of the restrooms here. I took a Saturday in December and left the house on Saturday and came in and literally walked in every single restroom at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And on my phone wrote down, restroom number 27, whatever seat location it was, 3 urinals, two whatever was in it, because you got to the point where he was going in them, and then he would ask you, now how many were in B stand again? I thought there were 6, it's his ability to remember was pretty amazing. So for me, it was just I want to go out I literally just spent a day walking in every single restaurant, right? And I built a spreadsheet out and sent to the team on the spreadsheet. Okay, here's where we are, and so we've used that spreadsheet sort of as the foundation to build out all of the things that we have. But
we know another Doug who would love the fact that you put that on a spreadsheet. One of the Pain Tour members, the Pennsylvania guys, guys and ladies actually. But there's a Doug there who loves spreadsheets.
Well, it's you put them together, figure out what we've got going, but but he's that way about everything. He just wants to know, and then he wants to sit and he wants to figure out how can I help make it better.
Yeah, I wonder what his Myers-Briggs is. I feel like the last 2 letters are I feel like he's probably pretty mixed on J and P. I think he's definitely T.
Yeah, he's T.
And I would think N over S.
He's a TJ. I'm a TJ at the end.
Okay, yeah, I was like, I think definitely TJ. I don't know him well enough to know if he's an I or an E. But I feel like he's got to be an E because he doesn't build time in his life to recharge individually.
No, I haven't seen that really. I mean, although I do think he's so...
E and TJ.
I think in a lot of ways the Speedway is recharge for him.
What is the recharge?
This place is. Because he's so passionate about it, and it's work, but it's also a hobby and it's passion. So I think for him to get out here and walk around is a way for him to recharge. So where most of us need to go sit in a corner and turn the lights off, or we need to go sit somewhere in front of a TV with a beer, I think for him it's like, let's walk around the Speedway and figure out,
think of things to do.
Yeah, think about how we can make the experience better. I do think there's an awful lot of excitement for him in doing that.
I would agree with that. He, one of the things that I've really enjoyed since the initial announcement back in November is that I feel like I've gotten to see more of Roger Penske's real personality in pressers and things.
Yep.
Because he's typically pretty stoic and kind of buttoned up. And, he'll give his opinion when asked, but, it's kind of been on the quieter side and lets the drivers talk and team managers and things. And, it's been really fun to see what I call Christmas morning excitement from him. It's like when he talked about his dad bringing him here, it was like he was 14 again. The look on his face, the excitement level. And we've had tons of people ask us our thoughts on this. And I'm like, here's the deal. Here's my thought on it. He's a very successful businessman who has a love affair for racing.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine a better steward to take over this track and this series. And people are like, well, do you think that he's going to be unfair and this and that? I'm like, no. I don't at all, because Roger Penske to me is the kind of guy that he doesn't want to beat you on a technicality. He wants you on the track so that he can just beat you because they're better. I'm like, he's not going to shade anything so that it's, catered towards his teams or any of that. Like that's not a real win to him. Right. And I love, it's been very hard for your team, and we will continue to pray for you guys. It's actually well, not hard, but it's been very busy. But I think that coming in with new eyes and just the way that he views things is a very positive thing.
So there is a lot of that. I observed a little what you've observed too. When you get a chance to really be around him more, he becomes more human, right?
Yeah.
He is still very buttoned up, and
he's still Mr. Penske.
He's still, wants things at a certain level, but you do get a chance to see that passion and that excitement that he's got for the racetrack. But I think the most important thing to Roger Penske is integrity, and I think because that's so important to him, he will probably go out of his way to make sure, from a competition standpoint, that there aren't reasons to call in to question his integrity.
Absolutely.
And you can see that in the way, in the way you deal with him, and the way he deals with people, and there's a huge amount of integrity. And he is a hand. My word is my bond, and a handshake. I don't need a contract, and a handshake works. And you don't get to where you do on a handshake without an unbelievable amount of integrity, or where he is without an unbelievable amount of integrity.
No, I would completely agree. I told one story, which was my dad was the assistant swim coach when I was on the swim team, and the day after he accepted that position, we're on the way to 5 a.m. swim practice, and he goes, I have to be harder on you than everybody else. And I was like, how is this different from every other day before you were the... He was like, well, it's actually going to be a little worse because we have to really make sure that nobody thinks I'm giving you favoritism. And I'm like, all right, fair. And so I very much feel like Roger's that way. And then I've told Molly, and I think I told her on our podcast, but the day of the initial announcement, I was standing next to Greg Penske.
Yep.
And after the press conference was over, on the floor, there's outlets everywhere. Well, the housing for the outlets just wasn't really sitting in there right, like the cover. And so we're talking, and somebody, like 3 people trip over it. He sees this. We're in the middle of a conversation. He bends down. And I said to him, I'm like, he bends down in a suit that's probably worth more than my car. And gets on the floor and investigates, why is this not closing?
Yep.
He doesn't grab a member of IMS staff.
Yep.
He doesn't grab somebody else. He doesn't ask somebody for anything. He just gets down on his knees, opens it up, examines it, figure out what's in the way of this not closing, fixes it, closes it, stands back up, goes about his business. Yep. And in that moment I thought, that right there tells me all I need to know about Roger Penske, because if he raised a man to act like this, I completely trust him with this facility.
And
Like that there's no, that's not my job in that man.
And that is not just in situations like, so Greg spent a lot of time here as well, and just walking around the facility as we're looking at, whatever it is we're looking at, it becomes a race now between Roger and Greg and me and whoever else is out there. If we see a piece of trash, who's going to get it first, right? And it's actually fun, and it's because we are all sort of wired that way, right? And you got Mark out there doing the same thing. It depends on how many people you get out there, and then who's going to bring a trash bag out, right? Because it's an outdoor venue, and stuff's going to blow around, but it is neat to see. Roger picks the trash up, carries it around.
Yeah.
We had we were out in turn 3 one morning. We met in turn 3 one morning about 7:15. It was still dark out. And it was icy, and I thought there's no way we're going to want to walk up in the grandstands that morning. Roger's on, we're going all the way to the top, and Greg's there. And at some point in time, Greg finds a crushed Miller Lite can, and we don't have any trash cans out trackside right now because we're taking them all in, right? They blow away, so you're stuck holding it. And we get down, and one of the guys on staff who has a great sense of humor. It looks at Greg and says, "You've been crushing beers already, Greg." And in my mind, I'm like, maybe we should get to know the guy a little better before we start doing the beer jokes at 7:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
And Greg just smiled and said, "Nope, just helping you clean the place up." And it's pretty neat to see.
I'm gonna go ahead and say maybe we don't take them out to like turn 3 the day after the 500. I'm concerned about that.
Yeah, well,
or if you needed some downtime, do take them out there because they'll be busy for a long time.
That's right.
That idea.
It won't be the day after. What I'm a little worried about is just how they handle the day of, because when you get that many people in the facility, and it doesn't matter how many trash cans you have, eventually they fill up.
Yep.
And then you can't get people to get there in time to switch. So our place, unfortunately, and we have customers who just throw stuff, right?
Yeah.
So I've got to figure out a way to make sure that at least for the last half of race day, that we don't have a conniption over the fact that the place is getting pretty trashy.
We volunteer to keep them busy. How about that?
That'd be great.
I'll do what it takes. I'll keep them busy.
So that's our biggest challenge day is race day when there's so many people here. You just can't get to trash cans quick enough. The day after is okay because it starts getting clean. Even the night of, we've already started cleaning up we start cleaning up by 6 o'clock, right? But the day after, inside turn 3 is still a little bit of a problem.
That's dicey. You know what? It's still better than the snake pit was in the 90s.
It is. We haven't found many burned cars or. Every once in a while we find a car. I think a couple of years ago we had a car left.
Say yet.
Yeah.
Yet. No.
Nope.
Don't speak that.
They're working hard.
Yeah, in the 90s they were finding people still waiting.
Yeah.
They were still hadn't quite gotten up from their nap.
So my dad was an Indianapolis police officer for 40 years, and so we had an idea a couple of years ago when we started this that it'd be fun to have different people tell funny stories from the snake pit of like their personal experience, like the old school snake pit, and then also temper that with. We spoke to Sergeant John Peregrine.
He's the PIO for state police.
He's the PR guy. He's on Twitter for Indiana State Police, and he was awesome. We did a phone interview with him, and he laughed and told some funny stories, and then was like, okay, but seriously, like be safe, drink responsibly, blah blah blah. Like if you need water, it's okay. Like all these like very good and helpful hints. And we had some great interviews, or we had some great stories, and about 95% of people would not go on record with them.
Yeah. All of the cops are like, great stories.
Yeah, no, I had some
can
great
we record it?
interviews from retired police who used to work with my dad, because I'm like, my dad told some hilarious, he didn't come to the race after he stopped having to work the race for a long time, because he had it was like, it was like almost like a PTSD of like, okay, the things I've seen in the snake pit I can't unsee, and so like, but he eventually came around and loved the 500. But yeah, no, I couldn't get any cops to tell funny stories on the record.
Understood.
But once we're done recording this, we can share.
I don't have any good snake pit stories. So my whole theory, even in college, was that you didn't drink at the racetrack. The racetrack was serious business. And you came to the racetrack to watch racing and to figure out what's going on. So for me, I never really had a good snake pit experience.
I don't think we did.
Well,
we did East Stand. That's our thing.
yeah, I say, well, yeah, I'm like, I never did the snake pit. That was before my
East
time. But yeah, East End is our jam on the first day of qualifications. That's the one day in May that we're off duty.
It's great.
That's good.
It is. All right.
Got to take a little time.
Not just RP, but the track, you've got the Brickyard on the 4th, motorcycles are coming back, and you've got an 8 hours. What are you can you like pick something you're most excited about out of those?
Well, May, obviously. I mean, it's hard to.
I mean, that wasn't even on the list.
Yeah, see,
That's an assume.
Yes.
I went, no.
I'm really looking forward to Brickyard Weekend, and a lot of it because I think the Xfinity cars on the road course are going to be really fun to see. For as much as you wonder, is 4th of July a good or bad thing for us from an attendance standpoint? It's sort of we don't know, right?
Yeah.
But we like the idea of theming around sort of another American weekend and the Go Forth thing, and so I'm really looking forward to that. I love the BC 39. I can't. It's probably my second favorite thing behind the 500, right? So, so having that in July, summertime, nighttime racing, some short track nighttime racing in the summer in Indiana is sort of what it's about. So that's a proper date for a midget race under the lights.
That is a proper date for a midget race.
Yeah.
So look, I'm looking forward to that. But I think probably Brickyard Weekend. Yeah. Motorcycles will be cool. That's one of the things. When MotoGP left, we hear all the time from motorcycle enthusiasts. Is there any way you can get bikes back here? So that'll be good. When we announced the 8-hour race, people excited about having a real proper 8-hour race. Now we have to just figure out how do you get a proper, and this is one of the things I know Roger's really interested in doing, how do you get a proper prototype sports car race, or proper sports car race at the Speedway at some point in time. But for me, it's probably Brickyard Weekend.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be great. Yeah, when that was announced, we both said, we're like, this is
perfect.
This is like the most patriotic sports venue ever.
Well, and you're right. Bookending it with, you've got Memorial Day for the race, and then you'll have the Brickyard on the 4th. Like,
2 American summer weekends.
Fantastic. And it's one of those that it's like, even if the first year numbers aren't that great, this is a weekend that can easily become a family tradition. Yep. Again with that fan experience, and I mean, you guys have been catering the Brickyard Weekend to a family fun weekend for a long, for a while now. And so it's got this, it's already got this assumption of like, okay, people are bringing their kids, they're bringing their families, they're bringing, cousins, sisters, brothers, whatever, and making a thing out of the weekend. And then you add in some fireworks and some extra fun stuff. I mean,
you add in fireworks, I'm there, aren't we?
We're in.
Yeah,
we came to the Rolling Stones on the 4th of July.
For the fireworks?
Yeah. Well, no, we came for the Stones.
We came for the Stones.
Okay. Our parents raised us right. We came for the Stones.
Yeah.
But when we found out there were fireworks, we were like, well, this just made the price of those tickets even better.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, we're excited about the fireworks, and we're having some food festival stuff going on, and just trying to just find reasons for people to come here. And it's 5 days of racing, and it's a whole bunch of other activities. Obviously FGL will be fun on Saturday.
Yeah.
So our biggest challenge with that was the Indians do such. I mean, that's their main night, right?
That's right.
So I called Randy. When we made the announcement. Said, look, we want to work together to make sure that we're not stepping on your night. And so the way we're going to do fireworks. So Randy will do his fireworks once the game's over, and then from there it'll be downtown, and then we'll do our fireworks after downtown. So we've tried to coordinate as 3 separate. I mean, somebody theoretically could get to all 3 probably, and then we're going to act. I don't know if we've actually
with a police escort. Man.
I don't know if we've actually announced this yet or not, but our hope is that at some point in the day on the 4th, we'll open the grandstands up for anybody to come in to watch the fireworks.
Oh, that's
so
a great idea.
It'll be after on track, but just inviting the community to come out and another opportunity to watch fireworks. And the nice thing is, if people are out here already sitting from the turn 4 grandstands, you'll be able to see the downtown fireworks. And then
because we could see the downtown during the concert.
Yep.
They were going off at the end of the concert, and the concert ended, and then we had, and it was just great to be in the Shadow Pagoda and have fireworks right there.
Yep.
But that's a great idea to open it up for the community.
Yeah, so we're excited about that.
I think that you'll get. I think that you will see immediate ROI on that actually, because people will come in earlier and spend money on concessions and.
We just need people to come back that weekend. Give us another shot on Brickyard Weekend. We just want people to come back and enjoy it.
I think so.
I think.
Well, and I think adding the road course is going to add some more excitement into that. Just I'm not sure what because I feel like it's it hasn't changed a whole bunch of. I mean, NASCAR fans are going to scream right now. I know that the racing has changed a whole bunch, and the cars have changed. We've had the car tomorrow. And sorry, NASCAR fans. That's not my niche. But the first time I came to the Brickyard, it was when it was still a packed house.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then the first time that Molly and I came, it had been a bunch of years because, again, I'm an IndyCar girl.
Right.
I came and I was like, this is not at all how I remember this.
Right. My dad went to the inaugural, and he was like, yeah, it was packed. I'm like...
I said, didn't that one sell out? Yeah.
So it was sold out really through 2001.
Yeah.
I'm thinking the same
But I think we can, I think it can build back up.
But I think it's also unrealistic to think that we're ever going to sell it out again, right?
Well, this facility is huge.
It is huge, but I think we have a long way to go, and we can grow it significantly, and that's really what we're trying to do. I mean, we still have more people here for Brickyard 400 race day than are downtown for an NFL football game. So it's just when you take 235,000 seats and you spread those people over that, plus 250 acres of infield,
sure,
it makes a lot of people look like it's not very much.
Right.
Yeah. I'm like, this is a place where you could have 70,000 people and it looks like it's empty.
Correct. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah, my dad used to always say that on a race day, and it's true, this property is the second biggest city in the state.
Correct.
Yep.
It is.
Yep.
The busiest emergency room in the country from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. on Indy 500 race day.
In the infield.
Which is nuts, right?
Right? Shout out Dr. Boles.
Yeah, I know. It's the whole team. So.
Yeah, we're trying to get them to put the Flamingo on top of one of their trucks this year.
It's going to happen.
I mean, they're into it, but they got to run it by their boss. So.
I feel like it can happen. I feel like this time I get to put some pressure in there.
Yeah, it may not fit the brand exactly. It's a good brand for you guys. It may not be exactly the...
I'm sure they get state money. It's fine. I'll take care of it. That's right. You heard me. Dr.
I'm like, it may not be good for their brand, but they all find it hilarious. I'll tell you that.
Well,
actually, the last time we saw Bill, he goes, "You didn't bring the Flamingo? We could have put it on top of the ambulance." I was like, I didn't know that was an option.
What?
It was the Flamingo that helped me find you at the Daytona 24-hour race this year. I'm looking around for Brian's pirate flag, and I can't find it, and I'm looking, and all of a sudden I go, oh, Flamingo, I know where I'm good.
Half the reason we have it now. Where are you? The Flamingo.
We realized the very first time we had it because fans of ours found us, and it also made it easy to identify our golf cart at Mid-Ohio.
AKA find my father when he's out drunk riding.
But we had fans that actually sat in the golf cart and took a bunch of photos, like did a whole photo op with the golf cart before they found us, and then tweeted them out, and it was hysterical.
That's great.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, the Flamingo.
Chad and his dad.
Yep.
So we'd be remiss. Molly's dad is still asking about being a potential pace car driver with the Flamingo. We're sure the answer is no, but
look. I still have to hold on to favorite child status.
Yeah, well, we haven't exactly secured our pace car driver yet for this year.
Just
so
say.
Well, he's quite skilled.
It's good to
have.
It's always good to have a backup option.
He's a backup. You know what? He's a backup.
And he also always has a Sawzall, so he's a great backup for a lot of things.
Great. Victor Oladipo missed his flight to get here to do pace car training when he was racing, and when he was driving the pace car, and we almost had to have somebody else drive because
you can't
Chevy
just do it off the cuff.
No, and it was going to rain when the day he got here, and had it rained, we'd had to put somebody else in. And fortunately, we had him here before the sun came up, and we got the training in. But there are times where you theoretically could have to go to the backup.
I mean, there's just part of me now that really wants to see one of us tell my dad he has to go through training first.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wouldn't do that.
Yeah, nope.
No, so
the best part in those conversations with the pace car drivers, you get them they go, oh yeah, I'm in, and then you go, okay, by the way, you have to go through a physical. And that's the one where they think, oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know you had to sign up, but we require our pace car driver basically to go through the same physical that an IndyCar driver does.
Well, it makes sense.
Yeah, why not? They're not going
slow. Well, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, and certainly when you're a Victor Oladipo, you're like, well, hang on a minute, I'm an NBA athlete. You think I'm not in good enough shape?
This is a different sport, buddy.
I might have to land on Oladipo's side for that one.
No, I'm gonna land on their side because I remember when the basketball players said that swimming wasn't any harder than their sport, and we invited them to our practice, and they made it about 25 minutes before they conceded that in fact it was very different. Yes. So I'm just gonna say basketball, racing.
Victor's a Hoosier basketball player.
I know he's.
I
love him,
and he was great, by the way. I mean, we loved having him, and he's been. In fact, I've got a photo of him around here somewhere with the pace car, and it was a blast to have him. And it's fun when you can take Hoosier folks and give them the opportunity.
It really is a big deal.
That is great. Yeah. Well, I will say I've gone through the EVOC training that all the police officers in Indianapolis have to do, so I'm just putting that out there.
There you go, yeah.
Yeah, like that's what you're going to do race morning.
I mean, I could hold off on the Bloody Marys till later if necessary.
Till post-race start?
You don't want to ruin a tradition. If the tradition is starting the morning off with a Bloody Mary, then you have to stay with.
Yeah.
You know what? Molly doesn't have as many points on her license, so.
Okay, fine. I'll do it. I forgot it. So, speaking of May, that May feeling.
Yes.
What? That's amazing.
We enjoy that.
That's really awesome.
Is that going to be our hashtag this year?
So that.
I mean, I've used it.
We've used it.
The reason we went with that is because, as we found over the last few years, as we focused on, this is May and all the different, how do you May and all this different, it feels like that, right? So we're just still continuing to play off the whole May thing, and it still works with is it May hashtag, all the different things work really well with it. So we're excited about it.
I mean, it also just fits with those photos of Simon on like the ticket and everything else. Like you're just like, that's exactly the May feel. Like we all feel that, even if it's not.
You remember a couple of years ago we did the greatest blank in racing, so you could fill everything in. That May feeling works exactly that way, right? So that May feeling is the margarita on race, or the Bloody Mary first thing race day.
Oh yeah, no, that'll be a hashtag photo by 7 a.m. from FCFG. Hashtag that May feeling.
So we're excited about it because then it lets everybody use it and talk about what's May mean to them.
It is very much like the greatest blanket. I love that.
Yeah.
I mean, we're with the greatest president in racing, so.
Well, I appreciate that.
I mean,
you're our favorite.
We'll get that made on T-shirts. I'm just gonna say that.
Yeah, they would sell so hard.
My boss has a cricket, so I can get this done.
I have a friend with a cricket.
See, there you go.
She's already done some koozies for us. I was like, we already have somebody with a cricket who's contracted. Don't be taking away Amanda's money.
No, so we feel really good about that campaign.
It's super awesome.
And it should be fun. We had fun with the Super Bowl commercial again this year, getting that out and just trying to build the excitement. It's fun to get all the different voices in it this year. Where in the past you haven't had those, so to have Simon, to have Scott, to have them in the long form. You got the mayor, you got Mario, you got just all this different personal voices. Is pretty fun.
Yeah, that was a very, very cool commercial.
Yeah. Very good cut commercial.
I'll tell you what else was awesome that you guys did with the Red Bull driver and. Rossi and
that was
oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness.
So and when the weather was forecast, I can't remember when we shot that, but it was
just the other day, right?
It
when
was
they just
November,
stole the key.
Yeah.
And then you see the weather forecast for snow, and it's like, you have to be kidding me. And actually, I think it turned out better with the snow.
It looked so much better with the
snow. That dirt track was super cool.
The dirt track was unbelievable. But even the drone images of them going down Holman and just all the snow everywhere, it turned out to be a really cool video. And then the little bit of work we had to do with our lawyers to get them comfortable with the triple jump thing in turn one. But it was.
I mean, some of us saw that and went.
Yeah.
How much paperwork was
There's
that?
There's a little bit of paperwork in that, but it was really cool. And to have somebody like Red Bull come in and say, "Hey, we want to do this," you're like, how can you say no?
That's awesome.
Right? I mean, just the power, the marketing power of Red Bull, and when they do something, the way the images are going to come out, it's going to be pretty spectacular.
Like the one,
awesome.
I don't know how they framed that shot up, but like everybody, and then the pagoda. I was like, I don't.
They had a drone. Oof. You can see it in one of the other shots.
I'm just saying the way that it all lined up was beautiful.
Yeah, it was cool, and plus it was fun in November to hear race car noise trackside.
What's funny is that I actually did get a text that day. So our joke is that
tire testing.
That's what I wrote back. So anytime anybody. Anytime anybody hears race cars, they text me. My mom, her friends that have moved here, what's going on at the track. And I'm always like, am I their scheduler? I don't. And so my go-to answer if I don't actually know what's going on is tire testing.
Right.
And so I did get a text in November that was like, I hear cars, what's going on at the track? It was Mary Pat, and I sent back, or no, it might have been my mom. I think it was my mom. She was like, what's going on at the track? And I just sent back tire testing. And she goes, because she's heard that podcast where I talk, she goes, is it really tire testing? You don't know. And I just sent back, I have no idea what's happening right now at work. I'm like, I'm on the east side. I don't have a clue.
Yeah. No, that was really fun to do. I'd love to do more stuff like that.
No, that was so cool. I enjoyed the bloopers. Alexander Rossi put out some of the bloopers and behind the scenes things, and the one where where they almost got it, but it wasn't quite synced up, and I was like, that's still impressive.
That's
like
still
to
cool.
me, for somebody to look at that and be like, not good enough. I'm like, I can't even.
I know, it's crazy.
All right, before we let you go, because now you're super, super busy. I'm sure that Roger needs to look at the bathrooms in turn 2. Do you have that spreadsheet ready?
I do have a spreadsheet.
Okay.
That's always on standby, and I actually have a
A
go-to.
printout?
No, I have a go-to notes page on my phone in case I
Nice.
don't have my spreadsheet. That at least I can go to the
Nice.
the
Well,
notes.
this is going to tickle me for a few years. Call your mace shots. What do you think? No, cars haven't even been on track yet
Oh,
for
jeez.
2020.
Ooh,
Do you got
yeah.
a gut feeling?
There's part of me that just wonders if Scott Dixon didn't do for another one. As long as he's been
It's been
around
since
and he
08,
continues to be just really competitive and he's always there. If that obviously, Joseph is one of those guys that's out there that hasn't won.
He did much better this
better.
year, but this is not usually his track.
Yeah, it's interesting.
I've lost a lot of money bet on Joseph Newgarden in
Yeah.
this race.
But it just goes to show that it's not easy.
No, the track
I mean,
chooses the winner.
it is not easy to win at this place. It's 500 miles, and so many things can go wrong. I mean, think about Elio running last year, and he and Davison get caught up in that thing in pit lane. It's so much stuff that's just out of your control that you can't you can't you can't predict. So even though you've prepared and you're ready, my obviously being Connor's stepdad and having him in the Air Force back and running with Ed.
Such a great.
that's-
look,
We're kind
pretty-
of planning on seeing him in the Fast 9 this
Pretty
year.
cool.
I'm thinking he's gonna be Fast 9.
Yeah, I was like, if he's not at least in the second row, I will eat my hat.
Yep.
Like,
Pretty cool for him, and
and a great Christmas gift for you guys.
Yeah. If Ed were ever to win this place,
Oh.
the place would
It would
erupt.
erupt,
Right? It would
yeah.
just absolutely erupt.
Yeah.
But I don't know if
It'd
you
be insane.
told me today I had to pick, I'd probably my gut says Scott Dixon. I don't know why.
Okay,
I like
no,
that.
that's the gut feeling. I'm here
Yeah.
for it though.
See, I had a gut feeling about Simon last year, so
Yeah,
like,
you
That's
did.
pretty good.
You had Simon's weeks before.
I did. I mean, it was so at the GP with like 30 laps to go when Simon made the one move and got into fourth. I turned to Molly and I go, I think he's gonna win this, and she was like, nah, because she had a Rosenquist in our fantasy league, and she was like, nah, this is Rosenquist. Or no, who'd you say? Because he was up front. Well, earlier on, you
It
said
was Dixon. and
Oh,
so
that's
I was
right.
like,
Yeah,
it's
you
gonna be
were
hard
like,
to get
no,
him.
it's gonna be blah blah. Anyhow, and I was like, no, and then and then it's like I was like, he's gonna win the 500 too. Like I just had that. I was like, it's gonna happen.
He's
So-
been an unbelievable champion.
Oh, he's
Oh, I
so
can only
personable.
His
imagine.
personality is he's got a great personality, but what makes it that much better is it's not fake.
It's genuine.
It is so
Genuine.
genuine how much this winning here meant to him, and you see it all the time, and it's just been a lot of fun to work with him. And we really couldn't ask for a better champion. Just Will was the same, right?
Yeah.
And you start going backwards. I mean, Will was awesome. Sato, who I thought when he won, I thought I don't know how this is going to go over. His passion and he was great.
Oh yeah.
Rossi got better as time went on because as time went on, he knew it meant more to him, right? When
Yeah.
he realized what he'd done. I mean, it's so like every day with Alex was better and better and better and better. And we've had some amazing champions that have just embraced it, and it's really been fun to work with them. So the one thing now you've got Simon's sweep of May.
Mm-hmm.
Now the only way you could really make a better sweep is somebody had to win the pole for the Grand Prix and the Grand Prix, the pole
That's
for
true.
Indy.
That's
and
true.
then Indy.
Yeah.
He got 3 of the 4 to kind of.
Which is a
To
D.
over-
Kids, 75%. That's a D.
And Will got 50%, right, when
Yeah.
he did it. So he
That's an F.
he swept it, but then it was like a new sweep. And then if you really wanted to extend it to pit stop competition, you could really do 5.
There you go.
do 5 things
Yeah.
to get the true sweep of May.
Oh, this is the new challenge. I feel
I
like,
like
the
that.
May challenge.
So we'll see if
Yeah.
anybody can pull that off.
Yeah.
But,
J Doug is laying it out. If you
Yeah.
think you're a real driver, he wants to see you
All
win 5
5.
things.
yeah,
There you
there's,
go.
there's 5
2
things.
poles,
you get
2
the full-
wins, pit stop
And
challenge.
the pit stop
yeah.
challenge. Can't forget that.
Yeah. So that's it'll be. But no, Simon's been great. Just loved working with him, and
Yeah.
he's coming in for the 100-day out party.
Oh,
And that-
awesome.
so
Great,
he
that's
and,
coming up.
He and Will both, and some other drivers, and
Very cool.
Oh,
And that's right. And that's coming up this Friday on Valentine's
it
Day,
is
actually.
Valentine's Day, which goes over really well at home when you say, "Hey, guess what we're doing for Valentine's Day?"
Hey,
Yeah.
Fortunately, my wife likes motorsports, so that's good.
Well, she's an angel, I have to say.
She is. Yeah.
100% both of those things.
Yes. Yes, she
We're
is.
just helping you out there with that one.
You
too.
know,
She's
it is.
she's fantastic.
She puts up with me, and for the most part.
And the boys, you know.
And the boys. And
That's
the
another thing.
That's true. Yeah, she has raised 4 boys.
and
she
the male
is,
dogs, and it's just a house full
Oh
of
my gosh.
testosterone, and she's...
and everybody knows that she's the alpha. The
she
alpha.
is
Like
definitely,
that's
she is
that's
definitely-
how the house
She
runs.
is definitely that. It is definitely her house.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
So,
On that note.
On that note, we
How
love
did
you,
you-
Beth. All right, so
yes,
you
we
made,
do.
Yep.
Yes.
All right, so we made your May predictions.
We got.
I know we got to let you go, but I will say, you guys are doing a great job. We appreciate everything you guys are doing, especially for the fan experience and all that. You guys have always done a good job, and I want to echo Roger's sentiment that nothing here is broken. He was coming in to make it better, and I'm excited. Because again, it's like there's nothing here that's broken. There's nothing that it's like, oh, that was awful or horrible or whatever. And from the fan side of things, I'm very excited to see the new, what else is going to come about here.
The new additions.
The new additions, and it's just...
Well, the hard part is, right, we basically had 90 days, and what can we do in 90 days for this? So this is step one of what I anticipate will be a whole bunch of steps over time that Roger and the team will all be able to continue to invest in the experience, and it just... it's pretty refreshing. It's also really exciting to have somebody that committed to making the place better. And the real comforting thing is, he said a million times, this was not a Roger Penske decision. This was a Penske family decision. And we hope that 74 years from now, people look back on the Penske family's stewardship of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway as fondly as they did the home at George's. So that's there's a lot of comfort in knowing that there's stability, not just through Roger, but through the generations to come, the Penske family that'll be here long after most of us are gone.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody could say it better.
I don't think so. That's excellent.
Thank you.
Well, Doug, thanks so much for your time.
Well, thank you. Appreciate it. Ready to get going racing?
Yeah.
I know.
Oh, I got one final. Here's our white flag. Other than the 500, and for you, I'll say other than the races here at our track, what other IndyCar race are you most excited about this season?
Oh boy, that's a great question. Because there's so many of them that I love.
You can break it down to road course, street course,
Well,
oval.
I'm just trying to think off the top of my head. I love Texas. And I don't know. I think for me, being fond of Texas is because we won there so much on the Panther days, right? So it was always such a good track to us.
It's a great track, though. I mean,
it is a really fun track. I love St. Pete just because it means the season's here. You get that going. So
IndyCar spring break.
Yep.
Always looking forward to that one. And then, frankly, I guess if it's a new, I loved Richmond, and I love Iowa as it is right now, and St. Louis Gateway's so great. And actually, the people at Gateway, the team at Gateway, we have so much fun promoting together.
They're fantastic.
Chris and Curtis are fantastic. But Richmond, I mean, if I sat and looked at a schedule right now, and so I'm trying to remember off the top of my head, but if I looked at it, I'd probably see Richmond because it's a racing town, so the people that live there love racing. It's a short track, and our racing tends to be really good on short track, and we'll be 50 miles an hour faster than a NASCAR car there, which is crazy, right, if you think about that. So maybe Richmond.
Okay. No, that's
Getting
great.
back to Richmond, I think is good.
It's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
I'm with you. Richmond's gonna, and they're doing a lot already for the weekend, so it's gonna be It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Awesome.
They've already announced camping. They're
I think
awesome.
that's me buzzing.
I was like, who's buzzing?
Yep,
That's
it's
not
nice.
me.
It's definitely me.
All right.
All right.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Happy President's Day, everybody, from the greatest president in racing.
Yeah, happy President's Day. 104 days, and we get to go racing again. That's
Woo!
good. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome.
Cool.
Thank you.
Awesome.